very excited about what we can do.
So you'll hit the ground running?
Oh, absolutely.
Joe, you look gutted.
Well, it's devastating. You know, you lose government. Yeah, thanks, Tina.
Sorry, Joe.
But it is devastating. I mean, it's. I'm thinking about my staff. I'm thinking about my colleagues.
So what will happen? I mean, what will you do tomorrow? You obviously have to let staff go.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's hard.
20 staff get sacked immediately tomorrow. You know, my colleagues lose their seats. They have to pack up their offices. It's a devastating process. There's no joy in it. No joy in defeat.
You've been used to government for so long. How will you handle opposition?
I don't know. You've got to give it your best shot, haven't you?
Will you be there?
Will you stay?
Well, you've got to give it your best shot, and you know, I'm certainly staying 3 years. I'm not going anywhere.
So you'll stay. And what do you think will happen as far as Peter Costello? How long do you think he'll stick it out now that he'll be leader of the opposition?
Oh yeah, look, you know, I mean, firstly, the Prime Minister hasn't said anything yet. We can talk about these things.
Okay, well, let's do
afterwards,
hypotheticals. It looks,
I mean,
you know, if he loses his seat.
Look, Peter Costello is someone who deserves the opportunity to lead the Liberal Party. There's no doubt about that. And he did before this election night, and he does after this election.
So hypothetical, if he decides not to continue on, if he puts his hand up and walks away, will you put your hand up to run?
Well, we're not going there. Sorry.
I had
not
to
going
ask.
there. Nice try, but we're not going there.
So give me some logistics then of the handover. The handover of power. Do the outgoing guys hang around and help the new guys, or is it you're on your own? I mean, how does it work? On a Monday morning, rock up at the office. How does it work?
Well, you empty your office.
I don't have a clue about that. I really
Joe does.
Yeah, I mean, you empty your office, and the departments give the new ministers a briefing, and they, you know, they start work. And there's a swearing-in ceremony. I mean, you know, the suggestion somehow that Parliament will come back before Christmas is a little absurd.
Can't
I mean, it's patently absurd. That's what Kevin Rudd's been saying. But you know, it is a big change. When you change the government, you change the country. And Australians have made their decision. We accept it. You know, that's the way it goes.
The country's changed tonight, and what will happen tomorrow is Dr. Peter Shergold, the head of Prime Minister and Cabinet, the most senior bureaucrat in Australia, will fly to Brisbane, and he'll meet with Kevin Rudd tomorrow morning. He'll talk to him about the transition, the formal transition to power. On Monday, the Treasury here. Blue Book, which has all the numbers.
Jeff Kennett here. I can assure you, I can understand how you're feeling right now, but you will get over it, mate. And importantly, you've got a great responsibility. And I know that's hard to reconcile tonight, but a good democracy requires a strong government and a strong opposition. So I hope that you find this transition, while hurtful tonight, it's the start of the next chapter in your life. And I can assure you, you will wake up tomorrow, mate. And that's more important than anything else.
Well, I mean, thanks, Uncle Jeff. I appreciate it. But look, Jeff, you know, I mean, the priorities in my family's always been a priority in my life. It won't change. I get, you know, the opportunity to spend a bit more time with them, and somehow that is a silver lining on what could be a dark cloud.
And you're really close to your family. Tanya, when you sit here, I know election after election in opposition, you think to yourself, the buggers have done it again. And then during the fierceness of a campaign, it can sometimes get personal. And in all the excitement tonight, do you understand the emotion of,
I know.
of people like Joe
and his
colleagues?
How Joe's feeling. I know exactly how Jackie's feeling. But I'll tell you something else. I've got a room full of branch members somewhere. There are thousands of Labor supporters around the country who feel very differently. They feel very excited. So I feel personal sympathy for these people, and I wish nobody any ill. But I've got to say, there are some very, very happy people around the country right now.
But it's not always gracious. Alexander Downer, I understand, is refusing at this moment to talk to media.
Yeah,
Joe,
he's a bit of a sook. He's always been a bit of a sook, hasn't he?
Well, come on. I mean, you know, it's pretty devastating. this is a devastating moment. I mean, let's not pretend that it's easy. It's very difficult.
Were you prepared?
I don't think you can prepare. I think you've got to go right up to the wire. You've got to fight as hard as you can. You know, I don't give up on any of these things. I don't give up. That's the bottom line. You've got to keep going until the siren goes, and then everyone can have their opinions after that. But don't be hard on any of my colleagues because they're not speaking to the media.
But there is an important thing to say. I mean, Joe's being very gracious here, and you do see a lot of a person's character in the hard times, and seeing someone accept defeat. I mean, Kim Beazley's speech when he accepted defeat in 2001, one of the best speeches he's ever given. Michelle O'Byrne in Bass, when she lost that very, very marginal seat, you really see a person's soul. It's a very raw experience, and I think there'll be a bit of that tonight. But you see.
Yeah. And the problem is we don't associate soul with politicians because we only see you in 10-second grabs, or we got to know you and Kevin a lot more on the Sunrise program. But a lot of politicians, we don't get to see that.
I'd just like to hear from Joe. I mean, obviously this campaign was run at a leadership level. People talk about Australian politics becoming presidential. I guess it is. There was a lot of talk about the team, but essentially it was the two men leading the parties we saw most of. So in the end, the leader of the party, who we'll hear from pretty soon, I imagine, has to take responsibility for what's happened. How much of this loss is put down to John Howard and his leadership in the campaign?
You know, John Howard is a person that will accept responsibility. I mean, I say that without having heard anything he said. If we had won, he would have deserved all the credit. And if we lose, he accepts responsibility. That's the sort of person he is. We all have to accept some responsibility. I mean, none of us, we are a team. I mean, it is not a presidential race. It is a parliamentary race. And, I accept my responsibility for what may look like a defeat.
Do you wish Kevin well? He's a mate. You're invited to his daughter's wedding. It's a wonderful sort of friendship across parties.
Yeah, look, let's see.
You're not winning an election.
No. Look, out of respect for John Howard and the Prime Minister, I'll leave my commentary until after.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.